Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Resilience Element Show. I am so happy to start today what we call the Resilience Element Formula, and I'm with an amazing guy called Graham Young. We're going to talk about clarity today, and I'm so blessed that I have a little bit of his time, and we're going to share as many insights as we can. So welcome, Graham. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Francis.
So now today we're talking about clarity, and some people don't know all about the resilience element formula, and there's actually 5 components. So the first one, that's why you're here, Graham, today, is clarity. The second one is conviction. Third one is certainty, and then you have commitment and courage. So a lot of people, they're asking, they're like, they have their goals, they have something very important to do, they want to reactivate their passion, they want to really accomplish something big, and they're not so sure about where to go first. And so I thought that we would talk clarity with you. So tell me a little bit more about how you define clarity, and how have you defined clarity in your life?
Yeah, no, I mean, clarity is I think such a big thing for anyone in their career or their business. I think one of the biggest things in life is that we don't take enough time to get clear on our goals and our long-term vision. I think one of the biggest challenges for me, for most of my life, and a lot of the clients that I work with, and I'm sure the people that you've come across, is that they have kind of ideas of where they want to go, and they might have a kind of a sort of broad, kind of vague picture of their future goals, but they're all disconnected and disjointed. They might kind of write their long-term goals, but they're never really connected to their short-term goals, and they're definitely never connected to their daily actions. And so there's this disconnection between everything. And so I feel that to gain clarity over is to really determine that direction you're going in, to understand that the vision you're creating is not a destination, but it's just a direction. Just to have an idea of where you're going, but then to take the time every month, every day, every week, every year especially, to break that vision down into smaller bite-sized chunks, and then to be able to understand how what you're doing on a daily basis is contributing to that longer-term vision.
That's a very good point, because some people have big goals, and then there's some inner conflicts about what they do and the long-term direction. So It has to match and make sure that it's all aligned together, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's just, I think one of the things I've noticed from studying the highest performers in the world, and I'm sure you've kind of noticed it too, is that, like, if you look at the highest performers, the number one thing I've noticed that they all do, like every single one, is that they're just relentless planners. And I think when it comes to planning, oftentimes it's not a very sexy topic. And it's not something we really enjoy doing, planning out your year, planning out your month, or planning out your day. But the reality is that, like, we don't often spend enough time to get really good at it. And when we don't spend enough time to consistently plan our days and our weeks, we're not really fully analyzing and measuring our behavior and our actions that are really getting us to where we need to go. And so because we're not always doing that consistent and deliberate planning, we're not getting enough knowledge and not getting better at forecasting our future goals and our future efforts. And so if you look at the highest performers in the world, the one thing they do is that they're just constantly planning and constantly analyzing. And it's not over preparing or over planning. You're just consistently doing it day in, week out, and month out, and year out, so that you're constantly just getting better at understanding your own actions and how they contribute to your future goals.
That makes a lot of sense. And you're saying planning, but at the end of the day, I heard almost the word adjustments, right?
Yeah,
like you're
for sure.
Making adjustments all the time. So you're planning, but you use what happened, and then you plan again. So it's a planning, adjusting, right?
Totally, absolutely, and being resilient along the way, right? And understanding how basically adjusting and adapting to your failures and to the circumstances around you. No, it's a great question. I mean, I think, again, it comes back to, I think a lot of times people get bored with planning because they kind of start planning out and they set these goals, and then the goals don't work out, and they kind of just, they might set a monthly goal. The monthly goal kind of seems like it's not going as planned when you're 2 weeks in, and then you kind of start giving up on yourself. And I'll start again next month, and then you kind of keep doing that. And I think what you want to do is, in the beginning, is spend a lot of time planning. And again, it sounds boring, and it sounds like, well, that's just obvious, but it's the reality of like, every day I would say to begin with, spend 15 minutes every single morning to plan out your day. Every single week, at least spend an hour. And the better you get at it, the less time you require, because you have created a system that enables you to every morning, every evening, or every week and month to just go through the system that's going to help you measure your progress, set your goals, and then look in the past and see where you made mistakes or what you need to adjust. And the more you do this and the more consistently you do it, the more clarity you have over your progress and where you're going. And it just makes you a higher performer because you understand yourself better. For me, clarity, one of the things I tell people is that clarity and purpose and passion, whatever you want to call it, it often, for me and from the experiences that I've had and from the people I've worked with, comes from two areas. It either comes from a positive experience or a negative experience. Mm-hmm. So meaning people often who have big successful businesses or are entrepreneurs or whatever it is, they often have that passion and that purpose or that clarity moment when they realize that they've had a past negative experience. So maybe they, went through a lot of health problems as a kid. Maybe they had weight issues. Maybe they lost someone in their life. Maybe if you're Uber, you had a really big frustration with taxi companies. If you're Airbnb, you had lots of frustrations with the hotel industry. And whatever those negative experiences are, people will often want to create change in the world. So you go through negative experiences and you want to create change in the world so other people don't have to go through those same problems that you've gone through.
And that's amazing what you're saying, because we never, talking about my own personal experience, I remember I went to Bali and the people were saying, we pray the bad gods. And I'm thinking, why are you praying bad gods? What are you doing right now? I was like, well, usually bad stuff in our life teaches us a lesson.
Right.
Wow. Okay. And what you just said, obviously Uber came from a bad experience.
Yeah.
The same thing. So imagine in your own life. So it's almost we're saying welcome.
Yeah.
No, it's all of them. That's what he told me. He's like, we pray them, not a lot, but we pray them.
Just once. I guess do it a bit, right? And that's the thing, is that it'll either, if it comes from a negative thing, that it can also come from a positive thing as well. So if you have a negative experience in your life, I often see people that want to create change in the world, and sometimes it might be from a positive experience. So you've gone through something very good. Maybe you've gone to the gym and you've lost lots of weight, so now you want to get into the fitness industry, or you were raised around a family that was so close together when they came together for meals, and you loved seeing your family get together over food. So now you want to be a chef and share that love with the world. And I find that purpose either comes from someone either wanting to create change from a negative experience or wanting to share it from a positive experience. For me, for my kind of experience was a negative one. My mom got diagnosed with cancer and passed away about 4 years ago. And for me, my clarity moment was, she was the one that kind of got me into personal development and got me into a lot of the sort of, Dale Carnegie, Stephen Covey type books when I was very young. And so I was always learning about that stuff through her. And when she was going through her sickness with her cancer and was battling it for years and going through surgeries and all that kind of stuff, I was able to utilize that information that she gave me to build resilience and to really get through those hard times in my life. And one of the biggest things that frustrated me by seeing her go through that cancer and that sickness, and also having my close mentor passed away from suicide a few years before that. One thing that frustrated me about both situations was that my mom and my mentor simply didn't have answers to understanding, what was going on with them. My mom was trying to reduce stress in her life and try to heal herself naturally. And my mentor obviously had some mental challenges that had caused him to eventually take his life, but neither of them had any answers to those problems in their life. And so after my mom passed away, I kind of realized that, it's not easy to get answers for the problems that we face in life, whether it's being resilient or finding your purpose or clarity or just changing something about yourself. And I realized that if you look in the self-help world or the personal development world or the business world, there's lots of stuff out there in the bookstores and online. but it's kind of a bit convoluted, and it's hard to find the answers you're looking for. So my kind of clarity moment was, okay, you know what? For me, I want to be able to simplify the process of personal achievement and of personal growth and career development and all that kind of stuff. And the easiest way for me to do that is to simplify the science behind it. You know, if I can simplify the psychology and the neuroscience behind how to improve someone's performance, then it really simplifies it for everyone else. It's like, well, you know, this is how your brain works.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want to change that bad habit, or if you want to achieve that goal, well, this is what you have to do in order to make it happen. And so for me, if I could simplify the foundational science behind it, that is what enables me to share that with the world and help people find their own answers. And so that was a big turning point for me to determine my clarity and change my career. One thing I would say, just in regards to what we were talking about with finding your purpose or your clarity, a good exercise to do is to spend like an hour, you know, maybe 15 minutes, just every couple days, spend some time looking back in your past and sort of say to yourself, okay, you know what are the key defining moments in my life? Whether it was when I was a kid, my family, my jobs, my career, my friends, my relationships, goals, achievements, and all the good stuff, but also the bad stuff. What are some really crappy things that have happened in my life that have really negatively impacted me today? Write them all down, do a big brain dump. And oftentimes when you have it in front of you, you can often start to connect the patterns. And then also ask yourself, you know, what are some current industries out there that really interest me? What are some certain leaders of companies out there that really interest me? Get that out on paper, and then, you know, see if you can connect the dots. You might not connect anything, but the first step is getting it out on paper, getting it to the top of your mind, and then remember that once stuff's at the top of your mind, your brain starts to naturally connect things. So have it there and come back to it every few days, every week or so. And what you'll find is that you'll eventually be doing something, whether it's at work or walking on the street, and all of a sudden you'll have this connection from the past, and it'll connect to the present day moment. And you'll have that aha moment where you'll be like, oh, you know what? That's why I feel so passionately about that product, is because it connects back to that past experience I had in my life. So if you can kind of just spend some time looking into the past, and know that if you continuously kind of look back there, some of the dots might connect and help you connect it to present day things going on in today's world. And that might end up stirring up some form of passion around a present day problem, product, or industry.
I really like that. I really, really like that. And I like also the fact that you give space in between, right? Yeah. It's not just like, I got to find it today.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're like, you know, I don't have time, but I only have 15 minutes. Well, I'll take that 15 minutes, starts the brain dump, and then 5 days later or 3 days or whatever, come back. And I like the fact that I think it's true that the brain is connecting all those things together.
Yeah.
And you realize that, wow, this was all there, but I just didn't take the time to put it on a piece of paper and review it after.
The brain has this thing called an attentional filter. And what the attentional filter, really, what they kind of call it, is it's always on the lookout for things in your environment that are based on change or importance. And so the things that you make your brain aware of that's important to you your brain will naturally start picking up on things in your environment that are important to you. So when you are not focusing on your goals or your vision or your purpose on a regular basis, it's not going to be able to pick it up in your environment because it's not aware of it. So if you can get people to really be more clear and recognize that, you know, by creating this vision or this purpose or whatever it is you're going after, it's not going to happen right away. But as you consistently work on it day in and day out, it'll get more clear and more clear. And by doing that, your brain will start picking up on things in your environment that are related to it. And so it's better to start now and kind of work on it over time slowly than waiting for that perfect moment and that perfect idea, because you'll be missing out on so many days that would have led up to that point.
All right. And I guess that would be the same thing. And that's an old analogy, but when people are buying a car and all of a sudden they just start to see all the cars everywhere.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Look for your goals, then it's just teaching your brain to go in the direction you want.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It knows what's important to you, what's aware of it. So it's going to pick up on that car that's driving around the street, or it's going to pick up on those logos or those friends or those people that are in your environment that you've been focusing on all your life.
Is there another trick maybe you have or something you wanted to mention?
I think those are probably the two, is like, just being aware of that attentional filter, of really being able to spend the time of digging into your past a bit, reviewing it regularly, and remembering to begin now, of trying to gain that clarity, and just know that it's not going to happen immediately. It's not going to happen right away, but if you consistently work on it day in and day out, it'll get more clear and more clear. And as at the top of your mind, you'll just naturally. I find that when you have it at the top of your mind and you're just constantly focusing on whatever it is, it'll force you to take action as well. So when you hear things in your environment related to that product or that industry or that person or that cause or whatever it is, because you've been focusing on it so much, it'll almost force you to take action when something pops up in your environment that's related to it. So yeah, I would say those two things, and do the brain dump, create a vision board, get it all in front of you to help your brain kind of connect the different patterns, and make a vision statement. If you're trying to gain clarity and you have these kind of brain dumps and these vision boards, try to write a vision statement that defines where you want to go and some ideas of what you want to be. And the more and remember that statement doesn't have to be accurate. It has to be something that you just like do right away. Just write something down that you want to see yourself being and achieving in a year. And then, maybe 2 days later, you know what, actually, I want to do this. I want to add this to it. I want to add that to it. And slowly over time, you mold that vision statement into exactly what you want to be. And again, it's better to start that now than wait 2 months and then miss out on all this information that you could have been picking up throughout those days.
You start with a brain dump, and then you give some space, you come back at it, you start to connect the dots together, and then because of your attention filter, you notice things. Action's going to get easier. Maybe you're just going to meet the right people, or you're just going to be in the right place, and then once you have a better idea about the clarity, having that vision board, that mission statement, looking at it on a regular basis. And I like the fact that it will change. We know it will change. You make the little adjustment, and once you're all ready, you make that yearly plan, that monthly plan, that weekly plan, and you spend time every day, maybe that 15 minutes, like you said, or an hour every week. And then you continue to just look at it, and that vision that you created will happen.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you summarized it very well. Just keep
I'm learning. I'm just I gotta know this.
No, man, you said it great. Just keep plugging away at it, and over time it'll create more shapes and more of a better shape. And one thing I say is, like you were saying with regards to Airbnb and Uber, it's like, look for the things that piss you off in life. Look for the things that frustrate you, because oftentimes if that's frustrating you, it's going to frustrate other people. And if no one's solved it yet, then that may be something you want to either start a company on, or maybe something that you want to join a company that's solving that problem. So it's always a good thing to kind of look in that avenue too.
I like that one. It's like the next time someone's going to be pissed off, I might have something there.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden, we're all grateful about it.
Yeah.
Graham,
exactly.
Thank you so much for your time. You've done amazing. I'm sure that it helped already some people with your insight. We'll talk about how we can reach you and how we can get more of you right after. But thank you so much for becoming a great first guy at the clarity for the resilience element formula. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Francis. Thank you.